Darren, always good to talk to you, and I'm sure you're getting set to head out to St. Louis.
I am, Jenny, and it's always good to talk with you.
But before you get there, a lot going on. The media has been reporting this story as if the parking lot bills were dead. Doesn't sound like that is the case right now. Bring us up to date with what's going on.
Yeah, well, last Thursday in Tennessee, the media reported an interview with the House Speaker saying that the bills that we are working very hard in Tennessee were dead in the Senate. This is the Safe Commute Act and then an enforcement provision that prohibits employers from discriminating against employees who own guns. And, I think the reports of their deaths were premature. We are still working the bills very aggressively. We actually got the House bills out of subcommittee yesterday morning, and we're still working hard. Unfortunately, Republican leadership in both houses is working to attempt to keep the bills from a House and Senate floor vote. One way or the other, we're going to work hard to make that happen, even over their objections, and that's sort of what we're doing right now. We do believe we're going to have House committee hearings next week. The problem is that we're running out of time because they're going to close session here in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and so lots of creative efforts are going to have to be implemented in order to make all this happen, but we're still alive. I just wanted to make sure our members didn't believe the media reports that the bills were dead and then stop calling their legislators and contacting their legislators.
Absolutely. So what the members need to do and gun owners need to do is get on the phone, start calling their lawmakers, particularly in the House or the Senate or both, or what do you want them to know?
Really, at this time, we have to have them contacting both their senator and their representative because the bills did pass out of the Senate committees a week and a half ago, and they came out with votes of 6-1 and 6-3. So the votes were pretty strong, cumulatively 12-4, and still we're looking at being denied a vote on the Senate floor. So what our members need to do is contact their senators and really work to get them to advocate for a full and fair vote on the Senate floor, and then their House members need to be contacted, and basically the same thing needs to be requested. What they want is just a vote on the floor. If we get votes in both the House and the Senate, these bills will pass. The one real hurdle we have is leadership trying to deny us and our members that vote.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure, like we've seen in other states, you've got the business community, and they really are weighing in on this. And are they still complaining about how this is about property rights, that their property rights are being violated? And the big question is, well, what about our constitutional rights?
Exactly. They are. Unfortunately, we have 40 or 50 professional full-time business lobbyists down here lobbying daily against these bills, and that's what the legislators are hearing all too often. I was the lobbyist for Kentucky back in 2005 when we did the first bill in the country, and we had no opposition. There was none. UPS was based in Kentucky, no opposition. The bills passed in the House with 2 no votes, in the Senate with 3 no votes. But now all this opposition has been ginned up. And really, this is about balancing private property rights. We're talking about the private property rights inside your own personal vehicle while it's parked in a parking lot, and the rights of the property owner. We're not mandating carry inside their businesses or inside their places of employment. We're simply saying that citizens should have the ability to defend themselves as they commute outside of their home. And so really, these property owners are arguing that their property rights extend all the way to the person's front door by disarming them during that entire commute. There's got to be a balance there. We've reached that balance, and their arguments that we're somehow violating their private property rights are just bunk, the bottom line. And really, the bottom line is that this is about them being anti-gun. They cannot distinguish between good people with guns and bad people with guns, and the universities are certainly part of that entire argument here in Tennessee.
And this is also about their employees being able to protect themselves on the way home if it's late at night. Let's say, for example, it's them and the person that's trying to assault them. I mean, it's an issue of self-defense for some of these people.
Well, that's right. I mean, FedEx, Federal Express, is based in Memphis, Tennessee. One of the biggest opponents in this entire debate here. Fred Smith, their CEO, has personally been in the state capitol lobbying against this. One of the richest men in America. And he does business. He has 15,000 employees in Memphis. It is the second most violent big city in America, according to the FBI. Has the highest rape rate in the country, according to the FBI. and they unconscionably are rendering their employees defenseless during their entire commute across that second most dangerous city in America. So that, to me, is just something that should not be accepted by legislators. If FedEx wants their employees to be protected, then they should allow them to keep their firearms in their locked vehicles out of sight while they're at work so they can defend themselves on their commute. And that's unfortunately not what they're doing. And that's the kind of opposition that we're working against. One of the biggest employers in Tennessee is fighting this bill tooth and nail. And, it's just us and one or two other groups out here at the Capitol trying to make the legislators do the right thing.
Darren, any idea what the governor will do if this bill gets to his desk?
Well, the governor is certainly one of the problems currently. He's been debating this out in the media, saying that it needs to be much more restricted, et cetera. He's certainly beholden to the business community also, but I have to believe that when we do get strong bills to his desk, he will have to sign them. He'll realize that this is a balancing act between the private property rights of those vehicle owners, their ability to be able to defend themselves in their commute, and the property owners who right now are resisting us. So I think ultimately he'll have to sign this.
Alrighty, but the bottom line right now is keep the calls and the emails coming.
Absolutely. That has to be the case because certainly the business community is doing it. They have university professors, university school presidents contacting their legislators on a regular basis. Of course, they're using school shootings, university shootings as the reason these bills need to die because it does apply to university parking lots. And, of course, those gun bans that exist in those places where those shootings occur don't seem to work very well for the people who are the victims. And so we do believe that this should apply to school grounds, school parking lots, university parking lots, and those gun control activists who work in the university systems are certainly being heard. They're contacting their legislators, so we need to make sure our members are countering those claims as much as possible and making sure that they're contacting their legislators.